carbon perspective, particularly an embodied carbon perspective, existing buildings are there already, and if we can extend their lifespans and create new life for them and give them new uses, then that is by far the most sustainable thing to do compared to demolishing them and creating a new building. So our default should always be, how can we reuse an existing building rather than knock it down?
How important is the square as an architectural element for social cohesion?
I think, particularly, there's a really good example of a project which has become the heart of a community. It was a car park previously. It was a very underused kind of opportunity and underused public space. And we created this new public space which the community seemed to embrace. And it was the community in all its forms, the community of kind of very different backgrounds, very multicultural. And it's become something which we've been really happy to see is kind of used day to day. It hosts events in the evening. We have the jazz club, which is thriving next door. And we've just, the sort of final phase of this is a series of workspaces which have been created along the side of the square. So it has this kind of multi-function kind of aspect, which means that it's kind of as well used as possible through the day. And it really is the heart of the community.
Yeah, and what's your approach to data-driven design?
So I think, we think about beauty in architecture, we think about all of the things that sort of architects should traditionally sort of focus on, social impact and so on. But we believe that there's a way of thinking and a way of grounding all our approach in data. So we have access to tools and access to data now, which can create amazing kind of digital tools which kind of drive what we do, and that's everything from briefing tools where we work with clients, all the way through to the way we think about embodied carbon and sustainability. And we have this unique ability now, which we didn't have 10, 20 years ago, to sort of embed data at the heart of how we approach projects.
Could you tell us more about your relationship with wood?
We love wood in architecture. We think that there's been a big debate recently, particularly in the UK, around safety in sort of timber construction. But we think there exists incredible opportunities to create projects which have a kind of inherent material quality which is just kind of beautiful. And that's everything from flooring to timber structure to furniture and so on. So wherever possible, we like to sort of explore timber as an opportunity at large scale and a kind of small scale. It's unlike any other material for us.
Beauty and functionality, is there a possible fusion or dichotomy?
I mean, in Italy, you've always been incredible at creating beauty. It's undeniable. I think we certainly think that the way we work and the approach we have hopefully sort of marries the two in a way that we don't see one without the other. One can't exist without the other. Clearly buildings will not stand the test of time if they're not functional, if they don't have a long life and they don't do all the things we need them to do. But we also want to create beautiful places, beautiful buildings, beautiful public spaces, and give a kind of lift to our sort of built realm, which we all need to kind of enjoy life and kind of thrive.
In a world struggling with immigration issues, what is the role of architecture, or what could it be?
I think as architects, we're sort of aware that we can often only create opportunities, and we're part of a much bigger social, environmental, cultural kind of plane. But I think, we always, at large and small scale, we always like to create these sort of opportunities for community, and it might be as small as creating a space for residents to gather to eat together. It might be a very large kind of public space in the middle of a large sort of city. But we think there's always opportunities to create, and then we're sort of to a certain extent dependent on kind of wider society, wider culture, political decisions to enable communities to thrive and use those public spaces as well as possible. So it's a big question, but we hope we can sort of do our bit to create those opportunities.
How has the concept of the workplace changed in recent years?
Workspace has changed enormously, and I think it was changing even before the pandemic. It goes without saying the pandemic accelerated a lot of those sort of trends. What we're seeing is as we work on kind of office space, on workplace, the diversity of the types of space that we're creating has massively increased. So the sorts of amenities which sit alongside the office space, great cycle facilities, meeting spaces, external terraces, and so on. All of those things are critical to get people back into the office, get back into the workspace, because otherwise we're all just plugged in on our computers and we can do that from home. So again, it comes back to this idea of creating opportunities for communality and sort of social gathering, which runs through all of our work, but particularly it's something that seems to be the overriding trend in kind of workspace over the last sort of 5 to 10 years.